When we think of prodigies, we often think about chess. Chess has been played for a long time and can be traced back for over 1500 years. The easiest way to become a young Grandmaster is to start playing as soon as possible. For example, most of the young Grandmasters start playing at around 5 years old. These children can study hundreds of techniques and strategies utilized by all of the previous world champions and pretty much engulf all of the knowledge from learning chess since the start of the game's existence. These prodigies eventually start competing against veteran Grandmasters as early as 10 or 11. An experiment conducted by Hungarian psychologist named Laszlo Polgar suggests that geniuses are made, not born. He theorized that you could become a genius in any chosen field as long as education starts before their 3rd birthday, and they begin to specialize at 6. He then trained his 3 daughters in chess starting at early ages. To summarize the experiment, all 3 women became masters. 2 of them became the women's world champions. Judith Polgar, who is the strongest of the 3, peaked at a rating of 2735, which was ranked 8 in the world at the time. In the gaming and esports world, the notion of a prodigy is completely different. The games have only existed for a couple of years. The techniques of the past cannot be applied to today's game, so the competitive landscape is entirely different than something like chess, or even traditional sports where the rule sets do not change too drastically. In games such as Teamfight Tactics, players do not grow up learning the game when they are 5. In fact, the entire genre of an auto-battler has only been around for a little more than a year. Instead, players of all ages start on an equal playing field. For some of the older viewers of the channel, we can all relate to the fact that we used to be much quicker with our calculations in our youth. While younger players may be sharper, why are most of the top players in auto-battlers and card games generally a little older than they are compared to competitors in other video games? In a game where random chance plays a role, a string of tough losses that feel outside of a player's control can cause severe frustration. This frustration can possibly turn off the younger audience. According to multiple psychiatric studies, the brain does not fully develop until the age of 25. Before 25, the prefrontal cortex, which can be responsible for controlling impulsive behaviors, is not fully developed. In poker, for example, there's a concept of tilt. Tilt is a term for a state of mental or emotional confusion or frustration in which a player adopts a less than optimal strategy, usually resulting in the player becoming over-aggressive. In a game full of randomness such as Teamfight Tactics or poker, players are often susceptible to tilting and the emotional effects of results-based thinking. It's no wonder why there are many more teenage star players in different games such as Fortnite or League of Legends than there are in games such as Teamfight Tactics or Hearthstone. Teamfight Tactics has always been considered a thinking game. Compared to games like League of Legends, the average player is a little older. For example, the average viewer of my channel is in their mid to late 20s. In fact, I have more 40-year-olds watching my videos than teenagers. With this in mind, let's get into how a 16-year-old French player became the champion of Europe by getting the first seed from Europe in the Set 3 World Finals. Today, I had the pleasure to talk to you about a rising star in esports. His name is Double61. He won the TFT Galaxies Championship, upsetting many of the tournament favorites. I spoke to him to find out what it's like to be at the top of his craft at such a young age. I've asked him what he thinks about his future in gaming is and what he's doing to prepare for the World Championships. At the end of the video, please go give him a follow on Twitter at TrainerDouble. Before Teamfight Tactics, Double used to play mobile games like Clash Royale, where he peaked at rank 1 multiple times. He started playing TFT in Set 1, hitting Challenger in 1 month. However, at this point in time, he did not consider himself a good player. One thing that I immediately liked was his humility and humbleness. He realizes that Challenger is just a stepping stone and it is a very long way from the top. A lot of players get complacent after hitting a certain rank, and this is evidenced by the abundance of players sitting at 0 LP at Diamond or Masters, or any other rank. He stopped playing in Set 2, but by the time Set 3 came around, he gave TFT another try and finished the set in 15th place. Right now, he is currently 3rd on the leaderboards in Europe after winning the qualifier. I've spoken to many players from all regions, some of which have been on this channel. What makes Double stand out is not only his age, but the way he practices to get better. Unlike most players, Double doesn't actually spend a lot of his time playing TFT. If you check his account, he plays fewer games than most of the other top-ranked players who often play on multiple accounts. Instead of playing, Double prefers to watch his peers. He said that out of all the time he devotes to Teamfight Tactics, around 70% of the time he's watching replays and streams, and only 30% of the time he's actually playing Teamfight Tactics. Double also attributes a lot of his success to statistics and mathematics. His training regimen and analytical processes is actually one of the reasons why he thinks TFT scares away a lot of high-level teenage players. Many younger players do not have the patience or mental fortitude to handle the improvement process in TFT compared to games like Fortnite or League of Legends. While he claims he does not do anything special or differently than other players, I spoke to some other high-level European players and they noticed that he seamlessly transitions his compositions in one turn using very good mechanics. I think we've all been there. We roll down after a fast state at 4-3 and only manage to roll 20 gold or less, and we only roll for really one composition. I've heard that Double can roll his entire economy while maintaining pivots and flexing many other compositions during his roll down. Now let's get into how he won the European Championships. Currently in TFT, the tournament meta is very different across all the regions. In North America, for example, there are a lot of one-tricks who specialize in compositions and play the same thing every single game. North America also has a lot of go big or go home players who play for first place, and if they fail that, they generally fall out and get 8th. Contrast that with Europe, where most of the top players, including some of the tournament favorites, are highly flexible. During the tournament, Double had different playstyles for the first half and the second half. The format of the EU qualifiers involved playing 5 games every round, with the potential of getting eliminated if you are in the lower half of points. The tournament starts with 64 players, and while playing the starting rounds, he opted for more flexible strategies, and he played around 5 different compositions in the first 10 games. Once he was in the semifinals and finals, he narrowed down to 3 compositions for the final 10 games, which were Cybernetics, Astro Snipers, and Protectors. He changed his strategy around because he noticed that Vanguards were not really played often in Europe and decided to go for Cybernetics as much as he could. Without any Vanguards, Cybernetics are difficult to stop. He placed first place twice in the finals with this composition. Note how he changed his playstyle from highly flexible to focusing on 3 compositions because of the format of the tournament. In the beginning, you only need to place in the top 4 to move on to the next round. This means as long as you don't get super unlucky or go 8th place a few games, you should be able to make it out with consistent play. Contrast this with the finals where the rewards are top heavy. Only 3 people make it to the world finals from 8 players. Here, Double went for a more aggressive strategy to improve his chances of moving on to the next stage. Another impressive quality that he displayed in the tournament was his composure. The semifinals only had 5 games, and he started that round with a 7th and a 6th. However, he did not let those poor results affect his future play, as he stormed right back with 2/3 and a 2nd in order to qualify for the finals in the last spot. From there, he went 2nd, 1st, 4th, 2nd, and 1st in order to solidify his victory. Comparing teamfight tactics to other video games, it is very difficult to determine what makes the best player. All of the top 10 ladder players in each region play differently than each other, which gives me the feeling that teamfight tactics is very far from being solved. When comparing TFT and video games to traditional sports, poker, or chess, we have to wonder how a constant patch cycle affects the performance of top players. We've done some videos in the past on rank 1 players, but being rank 1 for 1 patch or 1 week is much different from being a rank 1 player all the time. From what I've seen, Double has been in the top 25 in the European ladder quite often, so I do think we'll be seeing a lot more of him in the future. Double's skill in TFT is difficult to explain how he got there, as he says he does not play that much of the game. Some popular books, such as Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, point out that there's a 10,000 hour rule in order to become a master at something. But when games aren't out for this long of a time, can this rule even be applied? Since TFT is a mathematical game, I tried to ask him a few questions to dive a little deeper into this. Double says while he's not perfect, he is a very high performer in school, and he does take math and statistics very seriously in the game. It's difficult to say what makes someone world class at a video game. I know that I've seen many players who spend countless hours playing and are hard stuck at low ranks, and this is across all types of different games too. So it is clearly not as straightforward as skill being equal to time spent on the game, contrary to how some theories suggest. Shout out to all the people with over 1,000 games but are hard stuck. As mentioned before, video games have not been out for hundreds of years, so it is also impossible to start efficient training in childhood. As noted in one of my previous videos, How I Got to Challenger, I stated that being good at a different field, whether it be a game, a craft, or whatever, is very helpful to become a challenger player because you know the process of getting good. Double 61 was able to reach rank 1 in Clash Royale, which is one of the most popular mobile games. Even though Clash Royale is a real-time strategy game, which is a lot different from TFT, I am very curious if his practice and training regimen had any sort of crossover into TFT. There are many other young challenger players. One of the players in the North America qualifiers who's also peaked at rank 1 on the ladder, THG Spencer, is only 17. Clearly, there are a few younger players who are fighting for the top, and I honestly can't wait to see how the competitive scene plays out as both the players and the game matures. Just a note, Double does not currently stream, but he does plan to do so in the future. Special thanks to him for helping me make this video, and please wish him luck in the World Finals. I had so much fun making this video. If you guys enjoyed watching this, go ahead and hit the like button down below. If you're new and you want to get better at TFT, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and if you want to support the channel even more, I've opened up channel membership, so go ahead and get your membership now by clicking the join button down below. Apart from that, thank you so much again for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe, and of course smash that like button. Each like is an LP I gained before the next video.